Now we're going to talk about the coordinate plane, which is also known as Cartesian coordinates. So the coordinate plane is a way of graphing. It takes the horizontal positive and negative number line and the vertical positive and negative number line and puts them together. So we talked about these number lines. The one on the left is the horizontal one. Zero's in the middle, and then the positive numbers go to the right, and the negative numbers go to the left. The one on the left-hand side, right there, let me see if I can do this, right next to me, is the vertical number line. And that was the one that we used when we talked about elevation above or below sea level, positive and negative temperatures above zero, below zero. And that one is the same thing. The zero's in the middle, and the positive numbers go up, and the negative numbers go down. So this is what the coordinate plane looks like here on my right, or your right. The coordinate plane has 4 quadrants. The word quadrant means 4. So the quadrant numbers are always written as Roman numerals, and they start on the right-hand side, and they go counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. So coordinate or quadrant number 1 is on the far right. Quadrant number 2 is the next one over. Quadrant number 3, and then quadrant number 4. Okay, my face is covering up quadrant number 4, but I'm going to go out and just talk in just a second. Now you can see quadrant number 4, sorry. The quadrant numbers are always expressed as Roman numerals, and the numbers go counterclockwise. The horizontal axis, which means the number line going back and forth, is called the x-axis. You can see that I've labeled it as x, okay, right here and right here. Okay, that means it's this one going back and forth. The y-axis is the one that goes up and down. Okay, there's the y, and this one goes up and down. That's called the y-axis. Independent and dependent variables in graphing are very specific. Independent variables are the x values. They go back and forth. And dependent variables are the y values, and they go up and down. So we've already decided in this particular example that the number of batches was the independent variable. So the number of batches is going to be the x variables. And then the eggs and the flour are both dependent variables. Again, the number of eggs and flour depends on the number of batches. So when you're graphing and you have an X and a Y, those are called an ordered pair. So here again, I've talked about the X value always being the independent, and ordered pair being the X and the Y together. So if we look over here, in order to graph, you must have both an independent, oops, okay, nice try, and a dependent variable. So again, this is going to be my independent. These are both dependent. We have 3 lines here, but we only have an X and a Y. So because this is the independent, I can compare the independent to this one. I can also compare the independent to this one. These are called having a relationship. As you can see now, I have separated the independent variable and put it with one dependent variable. And then I've used the independent variable again and put it with the other dependent variable. When we talk about plotting points, we're referring to graphing the X and the Y values in a situation. We only need two values. We need one X and one Y. So let's take a look at what this looks like when I'm graphing both an X and a Y. I've already determined that my batches is my independent variable. Therefore, my batches represents the X values. My eggs are my dependent variable, which represents the Y value. If you look back at how our X's and Y's were put together, they were put together in parentheses. Right here is my X. Oops, sorry. And right here is my Y. So I'm going over 1 and up 2. X is always the back and forth. So if I go over 1 and up 2, I end up right here. Over 1, up 2. I end up right here.